Hello, fellow classmates. I hope all is well. My name is Noel Saldivar, and this is my career research project. The occupation that I chose to do the project over was over a sports and exercise psychologist. So, the educational requirements to be a sports or exercise psychologist, you must have a master's or a doctorate in one of these three, either in clinical psychology, sports psychology, or counseling. Some consider double majoring in psychology or one of those, or exercise science. You can major in one or minor in the other. Another requirement is advanced coursework in exercise in either exercise science, kinesiology, or clinical psychology. Another requirement is a 1 year internship with an APA approved program, the APA being an American Psychologist Association. So, certifications and license. There are two approaches for certification. I'm sorry. The American Board of Sports Psychology, the ABSP, they offer national certification. The only thing you need to get that is to have a doctorate, a state psychology license, and then a certified program that they obviously certified. Another approach is with the Association for Applied Sports Psychology. Prereqs are a completion of a certification exam, a master's or doctorates in sports psychology, a verification form from a mentor or employer, a signed ethical code, and a CV, as well as 3 references. Alright, so graduate school. It looks like a lot of information, but bear with me. The school that I chose was the University of North Texas. The University of North Texas offers 3 different degrees in sports psychology. They offer MS in kinesiology, a PhD in counseling psychology, and then a PhD in educational psychology. So I went ahead and gave you each of their requirements. So for the MS in kinesiology, you have to get accepted into the graduate school at UNT. You must have a bachelor's from an accredited institution. And then for their GPA requirements, it's a little bit weird, but it's a 3.0 GPA on all undergrad work, or you can have a 3.0 GPA on the last 60 hours of the undergrad degree, or a 3.4 GPA on your master's degree. For a PhD in counseling psychology, a little bit more requirements compared to the MS in Kines. You must get admitted into the counseling psychology PhD program. You must take a sport practicum during the first 3 years of the program. You must need a AASP certification, a doctorate degree from an accredited institution, coursework in knowledge areas of K1, K8, and then mentored experiences either with athletes, coaches, or any sort of sports organization. For the PhD in educational psychology, you must have 63 semester hours entering the program with related master's degree. The number of hours that are actually needed are completely dependent on your background as a student and as well as the advisor's recommendation. If you go on their website and you look up the graduate school for these 3 specifics, there's a lot more information on there. That way you can definitely understand a little bit more than this presentation. So the professional organization that I looked up for this project specifically was the American Psychological Association, which is the APA, founded in 1892. The American Board of Sports Psychology, the ABSP, which was founded not that long ago in 2000. And then the Association for Applied Sports Psychology, which was founded in 1985. Alright, so for the job sample, I actually did not use Indeed.com because there weren't a lot that I found quite relatable to this project. So I went ahead and went on higheredjobs.com. And the job sample that I found was an assistant professor of clinical psychology. It's in Pennsylvania. And so the psychology program at Penn State, as said in here, has an opening for a full-time tenure track assistant professor, and earned a doctorate in clinical or counseling psychology, and a license eligibility in Pennsylvania are required. So as stated in the previous slide, you do in fact need a doctorate or a master's of some sort, and then you absolutely need a license of some sort depending on which state you're in. And then it goes ahead and tells you under the successful candidate will that you teach clinical and general undergrad psychology courses, supervise graduate interns in research, teach courses, maintain active research, advise students, and then provide service to the school, obviously. So, description of a typical day. A day is not very typical. I mean, it's completely dependent on the athlete that you're working with. You are absolutely, without a doubt, spending a significant amount of time with these athletes. Each athlete poses their own different obstacles compared to the other. And your job as a sports psychologist is to help with the mental aspect of those athletes that obviously affect the physical aspect as well. So a lot of care and counseling, absolutely for sure. And then I also have a YouTube video that actually has a sports psychologist that talks about his typical day in and day out of working with athletes.
I enjoy working with athletes and hearing their progress. The athletes describe their progress. Specifically, the athletes will reach their goals. They'll find that motivational source. They'll gain that self confidence. Listening to them describe those issues is really rewarding for me. As a sport performance consultant, I work with athletes on the mental game. It's mental challenges, it's confidence, it's motivation, it's helping athletes where other coaches or nutritionists or trainers don't. Sports psychology exists to help athletes and teams. It's an extra resource, and the mental game is oftentimes overlooked, unfortunately. Yet it's so important. So it's adding that resource to the field. Sports psychologists work in private practice or with teams. For example, an athletic department at a college will hire a full-time sports psychologist, or an organization professionally. Um, I'm in a private practice. I network with different professionals and gain referrals from coaches or athletic directors or parents, and individuals come to my office. Some psychologists work directly with athletes, and their focus is more practitioner, more applied based. In contrast, there's researchers and that focus more of their work on journals and empirical studies. A researcher publishes empirical studies. They collect data. Um, they collect all the findings. I take those findings and apply it directly. There are several misconceptions in the field of sports psychology. People think that we overanalyze our clients or dig too deep, when in fact we're talking about sport and really teaching mental skills. As a sport performance consultant, I do not clinically label my clients, such as depression, anorexia. I work directly with the sport and teach mental skills. Um, Insurance and clinical labels are not involved with my work. One of the more difficult aspects of my work is actually listening to the clients and understanding what actually needs to be done. Clients will come in and they'll describe their obstacles, yet I have to listen, and my training helps me understand what interventions or what solutions need to be applied. The most difficult issue to deal with is confidence. That's a huge factor in sport. Regaining that self-confidence, that self-satisfaction, that self-pride is a big part of my work, and it's difficult to help athletes find that again. It's doable, but it's definitely an issue that I find a lot in my work. The most rewarding aspect of my work is hearing the clients describe their progress, how they reach their goals. For example, a client talked about how he was looking forward to competition this week, and he never would have said that or felt that last season. So that sense of eager and that sense of satisfaction and that sense of pride and enjoyment really is rewarding on my end.
All right, so I feel like that video gave everybody a better understanding of what it is to be a sports psychology. The greatest thing that I found pretty interesting was he said that he feels like a lot of times the mental aspect is overlooked, and sometimes I feel that way as well. And then these are my references, and I appreciate everybody that took the time to look at this presentation. Thank y'all.